one of the poles that runs it down, bright lights. Before I cut the poles, I'm moving. They're expensive, I know. I don't really need them, but one of them is right in the way for the new playground equipment that's be there. They're going to set, they want to set right on that area. They don't need to pole anyway. And the ones that first mentioned moving the state across the street, they mentioned that there's a street light on the road. So a street light would give a kind of light on that. But it'll have to go on a power company pole. And the power company pole is right there. A street light will shine right on the axis. So. And other than getting the lights down and off and down, the board move, the playground set up, it's all set. I think we made it's 50 by 100 last night. Measured it off. Again, it's pretty close.
Better not be 49 and a half.
Not over 1 and a half. Not over 1 and a half. Yep, that's what it is. It's back against the wood, the trees.
So are you asking for help to get the poles down, Cody?
Yes, I'd like somebody to crawl up there and take it down.
Where's the new ice rink going to be? Behind the school or in the lot next to it? No, it's right in the same place, just shoved down a little bit.
Back towards the woods.
It's still there by the field where it used to be.
Are they going to dig it in like they did this one that was in there now, or are they going to build it on top?
I haven't seen it, it's all done though.
It's done, huh? Okay.
You guys want to climb up there on the ladders? Get them down? Assistant Chief? I don't want to find anybody else, so I'll climb the ladder.
What's that?
So you want to climb the ladder?
Yeah, Linda Gammon called me yesterday, and I just haven't had a chance to go over there and look yet. And see what condition those poles are in.
Poles are
One of them's leaning pretty bad.
very good. But if you got the lights down and got the power off, and try to take the backhoe and use it off the rail.
Yes, the power is off, completely off, and that sagging wire, that's gone. They took it. No wire, there's no power.
So if we can get the lights down, Paul can go over there and react. Is there anything else?
The pole's in good condition itself, but the one that leans quite a lot.
Yeah.
Everything's up, they don't want to lean on this side and this side. It might be,
So Colby, you paid for this.
it's all paid for.
You donated this to the town.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like the whole-
Thank you.
You're a good man. I don't care what Gene says about you.
Yes, I am. If you don't believe it, just ask me. Okay, no, that's, I like to see it done, that's all.
Good. Anything else?
And I can't wait on the invitation.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's enough for now.
All right. Anybody else wish to speak? Tom?
What land was donated and what are these poles?
The land wasn't donated. It was actually our area beside our ball field that holds our playground and our skating rink. It was upgraded. The skating rink was downsized and moved over in a place that's better suited to give more parking. And the playground that was behind the old school is going to be relocated over there so kids don't have to cross the road and go play in the playground. Good stuff.
Playground. Be placed over by the ball field.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Have something, I don't know, maybe a little unconventional, but I'm Jackie Kilbert. I think most of you know who I am. And I do know everybody here, and I've been around for a long time in Canton, I think 36 years or so, and I've served on some boards myself. I've been involved directly and indirectly as the spouse of someone who served a fair amount on various boards, and so I think I speak from experience when I say sometimes it's good to get some feedback. So I prepared a couple of remarks, and I hope you'll bear with me while I say them, and then probably doesn't speak as a member of what's probably the silent majority in town, the people who don't come to selectmen meetings, and lots of people come just to listen and see what's going on. But there's a lot of us that just wait to read it in the paper or hear about it after the fact, and I'm probably one of those people. But sometimes it's nice to get a little pep talk, I guess, from the people who are silent most of the year. Because the system of town government works, I think, pretty efficiently and effectively in Maine. We all go out to town meeting every year and we tell our Board of Selectmen by our vote what we would like to have done and the direction we'd like to see the town go in, and then you guys come back here and give of your time, and I know you don't make a lot of money doing it, and sometimes the money you get is begrudging from taxpayers, but you know, you do give a lot of your time, your families give up your time, and you come and do this work that the town has given you all year long, along with the town employees. You carry out their wishes as well as deal with the problems and the issues as they arise. Personally, I think that we have, some of the most wise, intelligent, and some of the people with the most integrity as a board that we've had in town, and we've had some great people. So I think that says a lot. I think we've got some great town employees that work real hard for the town as well. And I think our community is headed in a nice direction, and I really like the direction that we're going in. So I guess the pep talk is just, you know, stay strong, even when it sounds like all you get is the negative feedback or people that are suggesting that we veer off from what the wishes of the majority are, but that's democracy, and that is how that works, that we stay the course and you know, not fund or work on personal agendas, but really work on what the town has set forth. So thank you for all that you do and the time you put into it, and that was pretty much the pep talk.
And your name was?
My name is Jackie Kilbert.
J-A-C-K-I. J-I-C-K-I.
Kilbert, K-I-L-B-R-E-T.
G-I-L-B-E-R-T.
No, K-I-L. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to thank
You were a pretty darn good looking boy.
I haven't seen you all in one room.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Good to hear that.
Well, I think that there are a lot of people in town that feel that way, and like I said, we don't always come out to the meetings, but sometimes it's nice to hear. So, thanks.
Anybody else? There's no more, we can get to the agenda. Actually, I'm sorry, I have one more thing. I don't feel we talk enough about businesses in town, okay? So anytime there's a new business, we'd like to hear about it in town. We'd like to get some information on it. And one that's been kind of started up in the last few months is specialty cut flowers by Loretta Blancato. She lives over in the River Road. And her husband John, I believe it is. Fresh bouquets. You can get a weekly subscription or a single purchase. 20 stem mixed flower bouquets in season, delivered weekly to your home, cancer business in the Canton area. $10 a week. Okay. So you can please contact her for single purchase details as well. Her number is 597-2825. It's Fresh Bouquets over on the River Road. Another business in town. So if you need flowers or anything, think about your local business.
I have those. They are stunning. Stunning.
On the River Road, go down.
It's where Wright's Gladiolus Academy used to be.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a great deal.
Yeah, the counter is a sample there that they brought in. It's actually pretty cheap, $10 a week for that. So. All right, let's get on to it. Meeting minutes. July 14th. Anybody ready?
I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
is not here, it's a follow-up on Alden Hill, but we do have an update. Yeah.
Yes. We went over and looked at it earlier today, and, I'm meeting with, me and Paul are gonna meet with John Benson, who's the highway, or the public works director over in J, he's the one that did the work for us on Tessier Road. So we can meet with him Friday morning, have him look at the road and see what he feels needs to be done. And hopefully do the work.
So Paul measured it out about 3,000 feet of gravel. There's a culvert that needs to be replaced. There's two other ones that we could see. One was just replaced after the storm damage, and then there's another one that's plastic. I think Mandy, I think Don Cummins, the road is in bad shape. They, Mr. Densmore and Mr. Cruz, they weren't in bad shape. It's in pretty bad shape. Some of the fines have migrated down to areas where it's a little bit more level, and probably ought to be pulled out of there and put gravel down. So the town, Jay, John Johnson, teams up with towns around there and goes and does some of these projects and what their cost is usually. So I think this allows us not to go through the bid process because you can't ask the town to bid for you. And as long as the price is reasonable, I think we need to move forward.
The same deal we did with Tessier.
Yes, we
so.
We'll have Paul go up and he's gonna dig safe it tomorrow to put that culvert in, do some ditching, get it ready for gravel, and then we'll see where the price lands and go from there.
Is the culvert you put in, is that big enough?
I think it is. I do.
If you
Yes.
put in something too much bigger, it's gonna be sitting right on.
It's gonna be like, one culvert is, it's about 4 inches below the ground. So, if you put 4 or 5 inches on that, you'll be okay. Must be some ledge up there.
Okay.
But they were not exaggerating. We need to do something.
So you can look at doing about 3,000 feet.
And that's what Paul measured out as, and I'd like to hear the opinion of the road foreman there. He measured it out.
Yeah, right in his truck.
Yeah. They'll put the gravel through it, they've got a grader, they can grade it. We thought about bringing, getting some contractors to give us some pricing. By the time you get somebody to haul material in there, they're most likely gonna use a bulldozer. And I don't know of any contractors that are small enough to get up in there to want to do that work. Bruce Mann's wouldn't go in there and gravel that road. He's got too many other things to do, so partner with the town and see what we can get out of it. Chris, how you doing? You are up. Your complaint. Has everybody read the complaint? This has got a lot to do with personnel issue, okay? We need to do the personnel issue in executive session with you and the person that, the employee that was talked about in here, okay? Is there anything you wanna add to this that isn't in here already and doesn't have anything to do with the personnel part?
Well, it has, the second part of my complaint was to do with the ballot, and how the ballot was came up with. You know, I believe there was a definite conflict of interest because with the filing ordinance, there was no input from the townspeople at all. There was no ask for any input.
Which one are you talking about, Chris?
My second complaint was about the fireman's ordinance proposed. How was this thing made up? All of a sudden on the 22nd it wasn't in existence, and on the 30th it was voted in to be on the town warrant. Where did the ordinance? Who made up the ordinance?
Okay, I think somebody in the crowd has some information about that, and I'm gonna let him speak because it has something to do with him, I believe, right? Jason Vaughn, go for it.
We, after coming to some of the selectmen
submitted at the last minute by citizens, the same as my petition was submitted by citizens.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't quite understand why the firemen were allowed to vote on this, to put it on the warrant.
Firemen didn't vote on it, put on the warrant, right?
Yes, they did.
No, the selectmen voted.
The selectmen put it on the warrant.
Right.
And one of them was the fire chief, which makes it just two of them, and the other one is
I think you're going for conflict of interest, right?
partly, yes,
Okay, well, the definition of conflict of interest does not apply, in my opinion.
in your opinion,
Because
yes.
there's no monetary gain of anybody, and actually, if you come right down to it, it could be a monetary loss to that fireman that voted on it, because they might have been outvoted.
I guess I'm not seeing the issue. We put in what was asked for through Chris's petition about having it elected every 3 years. And it was
But see-
presented to the town, and the town voted it down. The townspeople voted it down.
There's a difference here. He wanted it on a referendum.
Right,
You wanted it at town meeting.
right,
Different standard.
There's a different standard there.
right.
If you want it on a referendum vote,
That's what I wanted.
that's the 45 days,
Right.
that's the 45 days prior.
And you guys have to hold.
And I had met the 45-day requirement according to MMA. They just, you know, Brian and a couple of personnel in here decided that it wasn't a legal ballot.
That's personnel stuff, we will talk about, okay?
Okay, so that basically takes that off the ballot. Now, my concern is I didn't want 30 people voted on it. I wanted the majority of the people voting on it. Now, you had probably 40 people, 35 to 40 people at town meeting. You had 220 people voted at the polls. So, what I'm looking for is, I would like this, the referendum question I put to you guys, put on the ballot in November. It's, you know, you're supposed to have it done by 45 days. Well, I would like it to extend it until November. That way you can get a real count. You get a gubernatorial election, which is, last time was 430 people. And that right there will give you a real good idea, which is what I want. I didn't want 30 people deciding for the whole town that this is what they want. I want it to be done by the majority of the people. And the majority of the people vote, they don't go to the town meeting. And so this is my concern, is I want to make sure that this gets on that ballot for November, and I'd like some assurance that that will be done. Because the ballot is, it's been validated by MMA and everything else, so it should be no stepping stones in it. But this this complaint was given to you guys on the 22nd of May. And
It was given
to the board.
Board.
The former board, it was given to the board, well, you guys and them are the same, the board.
Well, understand this, this isn't trying to argue with you, but understand that this is the 4th meeting that this board has had. The first 2 meetings, you weren't here to
I shouldn't have been.
refresh, let me finish, to refresh your complaint in front of the 3 new ones. As soon as you came in, you attempted to do it at the 15 minutes, I cut you off, put you on the agenda for here. This is really the first time we're discussing this. Would you agree?
I don't know.
And
You know, as far as I can tell, you know, the other ordinance was done in complete secrecy. You know, there was no meetings called for anybody.
Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What do you want? I mean, if what you want is to have.
I want.
Let me finish.
Okay.
If what you want is to put your the ordinance that you circulated on the November ballot, tell us that.
That's what I want.
Okay, good.
That would solve the
Now,
major problem.
is that basically the big issue?
That is the bigger issue. Yeah, the other part is no formal asking anybody about changing an ordinance. The fire department comes up with an ordinance and
Well,
Yeah.
let's not talk about the past. I'm asking, what makes Chris Daly a happy man? If it's on the November ballot, will Chris?
That will take care of the first part of it. The second part, that's up to you guys.
Well,
Uh,
do you want to get bogged down in talking about the second part, or do you want to make progress on the first part?
we bogged down in the second part is completely separate complaint.
Is that the personnel issue that I talked about with the first complaint? Is that the one you're referencing?
No, I'm actually referencing it's a conflict of interest and stuff. I need it in writing that you guys are gonna, you don't think that there's any conflict of interest in all this and that, because I'm not,
Any,
How are any of the five of us conflicted? How are any of the
any
five
thought
of us?
on this particular issue? None, but back, when this was put on the ballot, there was a big conflict of interest.
But that's moved.
I mean, there's nothing we can do about the past.
Yeah.
We can fix what's here.
Well, there is something you can do about the past.
What would that be?
Well, that would be you censor somebody to make sure that this doesn't happen again. You can't have backdoor meetings. That's exactly what it looks like.
Backdoor meetings.
You guys did not ask anybody except for the fire department for their opinion
Okay,
on this.
Chris, when you do an ordinance can be drafted by any citizen
Right.
and does not require public input. That's why it's an open town meeting and the ordinance gets discussed at the open town meeting. Because if Gene wanted to write an ordinance for whatever he wanted to write one for, he can do that. He doesn't have to ask you, he doesn't have to ask us, he doesn't have to ask the planning board, he doesn't have to ask anybody. You can draft your ordinance and then it comes to the office to be certified and then it goes in. That's the process of making an ordinance.
Where I see the issue, okay, is that you put in a petition to be put on the ballot 45 days prior, and it was not put on there.
No, that's right.
And to make this go away, you're saying put it on the November ballot, right?
And
The rest of this, we can,
the rest of it has to go into your executive session to be
the
discussed.
personnel part of it, but
Yeah.
the conflict of interest part of it, Chris, there's nothing we can do about that because anybody can bring an ordinance in. I think you're confusing conflict of interest with basically town people part of the town, whether it's an employee or appointed position, holding a stipend or whatever, with not allowing them to write ordinances or be part of the town. And that's not a conflict unless it has something to do with monetary value or they benefit from it. They're not going to benefit from this at all. Actually, in my opinion, they're not going to benefit. It's going to be worse on them because could be a revolving door of fire chiefs. So, however I vote is however I vote. It's my right. But I think, my opinion, to get to it, I think we should put it on the November ballot and go for it. And that puts that to bed.
I don't have any problem with that.
You have a problem with that?
No problem.
Okay. You need a motion.
I'll make a motion to put it on the November ballot.
Just to be clear, what exactly are we putting on the ballot? Are we putting on the ordinance as submitted by Chris back in whatever it was?
It's not an ordinance.
It would have to be written that, because you cannot change a written ordinance.
It's a
Petition.
A petition ordinance.
So it's a
It
question,
has to
right?
be, it has to be worded the same way the petition was written to it.
Well, that's
And
what I'm trying
basically what it says is that, went on to see if the town would like to elect the fire chief starting in 2015. And that's basically it.
Basically change it from an appointed to an elected position.
Right.
By the town.
Right. Which it wasn't always, it was an elected position a long time ago, when Dusty had never had it, but then all of a sudden, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember it going before the town, but it must have, to change it.
And that means we need to have a public hearing, correct?
All right, is there any more discussion? Jason, we're going to let the crowd talk a little bit on this one. Go ahead.
So, Chris is not proposing an ordinance
see if the town of Canton will vote to require the town to elect the fire chief by secret ballot every 3 years at the polls held before the annual town meeting. This is to start in 2015. That's what's going to be on November.
That's the way it was.
That's the
That
way
way,
it is.
which I read from the petition.
That's the way it's written, that's the way it should, it's supposed to be on the ballot, yes.
Okay, so that's what Brian's motion is.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion from the board? All in favor? Scotty, you got that all down in there, right?
Do you need another copy of the petition?
You heard it
Mm-hmm.
with witnesses and on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this is on YouTube again, because I'm starting to get autographed. So, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, if a mistake was made by a former board, I'm not gonna offer an apology, but we're gonna make it right. Good,
All right.
okay. The next thing, you wanna go in executive session at this point,
No.
okay? So we're done.
Well, at this particular point, I guess we do need to go in executive session for this, yes, at this point. Do you wanna wait until after the regular meeting is over? All right.
We're gonna do it now?
I'd rather do it now and get
All
done.
right, I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for MRSA 4056A for a personnel matter.
You really get that memorized now.
I've done it quite a few times.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? We gotta kick you out for a little while. We'll come back out and get you as soon as we're done, okay?
Yeah, I gotta check.
Scotty, you're staying.
Yep.
It will be 7:02.